Hey guys, Seventh Moose here. Today I want to talk about the MLB voting laws and all kinds of other fun, crazy stuff. So, I guess we can get right into it. Start off as I like to with some framing for this discussion so we all know what page I'm on and where I'm coming from. In case you haven't heard, if you're like me, you don't really care about sports unless it maybe falls into the political space. MLB decided to, that's Major League Baseball, decided to move their All-Star game from Atlanta, Georgia to Denver, Colorado because Georgia decided to change their laws in this horribly racist way to require photo identification in order to vote, despite the fact that MLB requires photo ID to pick up tickets ordered online. Whatever. We're not talking about whataboutism. The thing is those laws were put into place, laws that they're complaining about due to COVID. And the Republican legislator there, they actually kept a lot of that stuff in place and they removed some other stuff. And that's really what they're upset about is that now it's harder to vote. Well, the fact of the matter is, it might be harder to vote in 2022 than it was in 2020, but it's actually going to be easier to vote in 2022 than it was in 2018. I know those are a lot of numbers, but that was a concession given to the left. I think that was actually a really smart move. And here they are being punished all around for it. Crappy move, but now we're getting into it. I want to talk a little bit about the differences between Denver, Colorado, and Atlanta, Georgia. I have notes here. According to what I've been able to find, Atlanta, Georgia has 51% African American population, which means there's going to be more African American businesses. Whereas Denver, Colorado, it's under 10%. It's 9.2, if I'm reading this right. Again, probably less African American businesses. Why does that matter? Well, when you have a big game that draws in national, if not some global attention, people don't just come and buy their tickets and then go home and or just go to a hotel. They often, if they're going to be traveling a very big distance, they want to spend money all around. So they're going to go to this little shop or that place to eat, or they're going to spend a couple days, maybe a day before, watch the game, then a day after. So that's taking money away from African American businesses and putting them somewhere else. But as we know, they did this move because they considered this requiring ID to be racist. So, in order to prevent racism, they decided to hurt African American businesses. I mean, this does sound a little bit familiar, but not only that, not only that, but the place that they moved to, Denver, Colorado, is not exactly the loosest state when it comes to maybe loose is the wrong word, but it's not the easiest state to vote in either. It has very similar laws. It almost seems to me as if the MLB wanted to get out of their contract with Georgia, with Atlanta, Georgia, or maybe Colorado offered them something that Georgia wasn't willing to counteroffer with. And so they used this as an excuse to get out of what they had. They probably have some sort of morality clause or what have you. So now they can get out of it and they can go over to Colorado without breaking their contract, without messing everything up, without getting sued. And if you're on the left, this should really, really, really upset you because what's going on now is this sports team, something that the left tends to not care about, is virtue signaling to get out of a contract. And the more people that do stuff like this, the more that people use the left's movement as a way to weasel out of contracts, the less legitimacy the cause has. Something that I actually can understand. I do want everyone to vote. I would like everyone to be educated on what they're voting for, but we can't have everything. But I would like at least anyone who has the ability to vote and at least a basic, and I mean the most basic understanding of what they're voting for, to vote. I don't want anyone to be prevented from voting because it costs too much money or they have to take a test or whatever bullcrap we had way back in the day. I think it's important that all people can vote, especially in the information age. It's easy to find this stuff and learn and educate yourself. Takes 15 minutes to really learn what you're voting for in most cases. So, by diluting these causes, you're delegitimizing it, and this should really, really upset the left. But instead, they're celebrating it because the MLB took their narrative and used it against. It kind of shows me that this is all tribal anyway. And in the same token, I feel like it's kind of strange because usually it's like conservatives and like pro America types that like baseball. I mean, baseball sucks. It's not nearly as fun as football, not as quirky as soccer. It's this weird like middle ground. It's like the perfect conservative sport. And by moving out, they're pissing off conservatives, people like me. Now, I don't care about it, but they were the ones without any real political controversies, and now they have it. And it seems like they're trying to get the left to watch. It feels like they're changing their base. I don't know why, but that's just what seems like's going on. The problem becomes is how do you fix this issue, right? The right wing wants more secure elections because of what happened and what's been accused of happening in the 2020 elections. The left wing doesn't want it to hurt their base, their voting base. So, at the end of the day, what people need to do is they need to come together. You need to have the right wing over here and the left wing over here. And the right wing says, hey, we want to make sure that people have IDs when they vote. The left wing says, hey, that might be a little hard to do because a lot of people that vote for us don't have the money or access to state issued IDs because it's a little hard. Okay, cool. Because we want this law, we're going to add money and services and abilities to make sure that everybody can get an ID easier. Hey, that's great. La, la, la. That's how it's supposed to fucking work. But at the end of the day, because they're not doing this, they're just virtue signaling to each other, wearing each other out, just calling each other every name in the book that they can just to win a couple of points. It shows that they don't care about you. They don't care about your ideals. They don't care about Major League Baseball. They don't care about racist voter laws. They don't care about any of that because if they did, they would be proposing this. And the left is at fault right now for not doing it. The left will win a lot of conservative votes if they propose a law, just like I explained, as would the right. They win a lot of support from the left and the right, especially if they let the left, their freaking amendments, and then it passed. Everybody would be a lot happier and probably win a lot more points. But hey, that's just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Be good to yourselves. Most importantly, be good to each other, and end a video.